The serpent had absolutely zero clue what was about to hit it. One moment the jungle floor was dead quiet. Then in a heartbeat everything changed, tearing apart every survival rulebook you have ever read. Out here in the bush, being massive does not mean you are the boss, and packing venom does not ensure you will walk away the winner. We are not here to tell you another tale about a viper stalking a helpless rat. No, this is the story of how the tables turn, transforming the ultimate predator into lunch without a single warning. Deep inside the thick brush, a lethal viper slithers with total arrogance, sliding smoothly over the dirt and rotting leaves. Every twitch is planned, every stop is calculated. Evolution spent millions of years building this assassin, equipping it with toxic fangs and reflexes faster than a whip crack. Most animals would bolt at the faintest tremor. Most living things would not stand a ghost of a chance against it. However, Mother Nature always keeps a nasty surprise up her sleeve. Stashed away under old bark and forest junk sits a much smaller killer, something you would not be scared of if you walked right past it. It stays low, practically blending into the dirt. It does not try to scare you. It bets everything on perfect timing. Muscles coil like springs. Senses dial up to 11. The second that serpent slithers just a couple of inches too close, the trap is sprung. You will not hear a hiss or a rattle. No cinematic intro. Just a violent eruption of speed. The underdog shoots forward, latching onto the reptile before it can even think about coiling up. Claws, or mandibles, built for gripping, not for display, lock onto the scaly body. The snake goes berserk, venom-loaded brain screaming to get away. But catching someone off guard is just as deadly as any poison. That arrogance vanishes, replaced instantly by sheer terror. The viper thrashes wildly, trying to sink its fangs into something, but the attacker is relentless. It is already looking for a soft spot, aiming for the chinks in the armor, with a skill learned from 100 previous fights. Seconds drag out like hours, as the brawl gets nastier, every twist burning up energy, sapping its power with every slip-up, bringing it closer to a grim end. Right then and there, the wilderness shows its true cold face. You will not find any heroes saving the day, just winners and losers. And folks, we are only getting started. If you are itching to see how this brutal throwdown ramps up and find out who actually walks away alive, smash that like button and hit subscribe right now. The next clip is going to flip everything you thought you knew about toxins, brute strength, and staying alive in the jungle. This is not a quick kill. Out here, if you hesitate, you die, and both these killers know the score. The serpent explodes with raw power, whipping back and forth scales, grinding hard against the dirt. The poison sacs are full, and those needles are hunting for a vein. One solid hit could turn the lights out in a split second, but the little guy has already gone past the point of no return. Hanging on for dear life, it adjusts its hold with scary effectiveness. Every leg clamps down, digging in deeper, refusing to give the snake an inch of breathing room. This is not a messy brawl, it is surgery. The attacker shifts weight, dodging those snapping jaws by a hair, moving with zero mercy. The viper bites, missing by a whisker. Again, and again. Every miss burns precious fuel. Every ticking second tips the scales toward the ambusher. Then the hammer drops. With ice-cold precision, the underdog lands its own fatal blow. It does not sting out of panic. It does it with intent. The target is picked perfectly. The results kick in right away. The serpent's frantic whipping starts to gear down, not all at once, but you can see it happening. Muscles that were tight as steel cables begin to twitch and fail. The coordination is gone. The panic is setting in deep. This is the exact second the crown gets stolen. The viper tries one last Hail Mary, pushing every last drop of energy it has. It coils and snaps in a desperate bid to get loose. But that toxin is already coursing through its veins. The wires between the brain and the body are getting cut. Power leaks out with every heartbeat. What was just a moment ago a terrifying monster can barely manage a twitch. The quiet slowly reclaims the jungle floor. The little assassin is not in a hurry. It waits. It knows from experience that patience wraps up what speed started. When the twitching finally stops, there is no arguing with the result. Another hierarchy has been toppled, unseen by the rest of the world, but final as the grave. But do not think for a second it always goes down like this. Somewhere else in the bush, the same fight is happening with a totally different ending. Sometimes the snake figures it out faster. Sometimes the fangs land first. And in the next brawl, the pendulum is going to swing again. Way more violent, completely unpredictable, and honestly hard to believe. If that jaw-dropper stunned you, keep your eyes glued to the screen. Drop a comment below on who you think is the real king of the jungle. And make sure you are subscribed so you can dive deeper into the deadliest survival wars nature has on tap. It does not always end with the little guy standing tall. Out in the wild, doing the same thing twice does not mean you get the same result. A slippery rock, a split-second hesitation, or one bad move can flip the script without mercy. And just beyond the clearing, another showdown is already kicking off. This time around, the serpent picks up on the threat before it hits. The dirt hums just a tiny bit. The air feels heavy. Signals that most animals would miss, but not this killer. The viper locks up, half-coiled head raised just enough to radar the movement. It is not running away. It is getting ready to rumble. Every muscle is taut, waiting for the error that determines who lives and who dies. High above, a different breed of assassin watches perfectly still. Long legs grip the tree bark. Eyes are laser-focused on the reptile's track. Unlike the ground troops, this predator plays the vertical game using gravity and insane precision. It does not bother with a chase. It just falls. The hit happens in the blink of an eye. The hunter slams down from the canopy, crashing into the snake in a blurry mess of violence. For a second, it is just a ball of limbs and scales tumbling in the dirt. The serpent snaps back, fangs flashing with lethal intent. This time the bite connects. The poison starts pumping. Suddenly, the odds are looking very different. But walking away with the win is never easy. The attacker clamps down harder, even though it is hurting, refusing to let go of the wheel. Its legs pin the viper's skull, jamming the movement, shoving those jaws away from anything important. The snake twists like a demon fighting the hold, but the damage is already racking up on both sides. The venom is moving. The energy is fading. Time is now the only referee that matters. The minutes drag on agonizingly slow. One fighter starts to gas out first. The motion gets sluggish. The fight leaves them. The other one, hanging on by a thread, feels the shift and makes its move. Grip turns into total ownership. The winner is not decided by who is bigger, but by who can last longer and who has the better angle. When the jungle finally shuts up again, there is only one hunter left with enough gas in the tank to crawl away. These wars are not some rare freak show. They go down every single day, completely invisible to us, constantly reshuffling the food chain. The wild does not believe in permanent kings. Victory is reserved exclusively for the creature that evolves quicker than its adversary. If you are realizing that staying alive in the wild is far more volatile than you ever engaged with, stick around. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and prepare yourself, because the upcoming segment unveils confrontations that are even more merciless, where the serpent battles foes you would never anticipate. As twilight consumes the dense foliage, a different breed of phantom killer assumes its post. This predator does not prowl the earth or dive from the heavens. It freezes in absolute silence, merging so flawlessly with the vegetation that even the keenest vision would scan right past it. The reptile slithers underneath, oblivious that every millimeter of its journey is being scrutinized. This assassin does not bank on velocity alone. Its primary weapon is pure trickery. The split second the reptile breaches that invisible tripwire, the ambush detonates. Serrated appendages snap shut with industrial efficiency, locking the serpent's skull in a vice grip before it can even think about striking. No warning signs, zero reaction time. Spikes penetrate deep, anchoring a hold engineered to make escape impossible. The victim thrashes in a frenzy, but the clamp remains iron tight. In this scenario, the serpent's most lethal asset is rendered completely obsolete. Paralyzed and unable to launch a counterbite, the snake's toxic payload remains uselessly trapped behind locked jaws. The aggressor shifts its stance with eerie calm, delivering surgical bites with brutal precision. Every motion is disciplined. Every nibble is calculated. The struggle fades not because of overwhelming power, but due to absolute technical perfection. Yet shift the scene to a different patch of wilderness, and the narrative twists dramatically. A heftier, more belligerent viper refuses to be shackled. As the trap springs, the reptile retaliates with lightning reflexes. Fangs find their mark. Toxicity floods the system. The assailant pulls back, but the realization comes a heartbeat too late. What was intended as an easy meal transforms into a fatal error. In the blink of an eye, the smaller hunter crumbles its accuracy, proving worthless against a swifter, more potent counterattack. The serpent withdraws, battered and weary, yet still breathing. These skirmishes unveil a harsh reality. There is no such thing as an unbeatable tactic. Every strength conceals a liability. In one instance, stillness and strategy crown the victor. In the next, raw agility and chemical warfare seize command. The natural world offers zero sanctuary for the arrogant. However, the most jaw-dropping showdowns are yet to unfold. If this segment transformed your perspective on the food chain, do not stop watching now. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to our channel, and keep your eyes peeled, because the finale brings the most shocking turnaround of the entire saga. The ultimate duel plays out on the unforgiving open plains, void of shelter or salvation. the cobra rears up, hood flaring into a terrifying silhouette, broadcasting a lethal warning etched into its very DNA. The venom is primed and pumping. Dominance is on full display. For the vast majority of beasts, this posture alone would terminate the conflict instantly. However,